Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I'm reviewing the Dragon of Life, which retails for $109.99 with 1,050 pieces, and I mean, it's a pretty good set, all things considered. Just got a couple thoughts on it, really. So starting off with the first of the two side builds, it's just a bit of terrain, which is really nice. We only get some terrain in one of the other sets, however, we also get the treehouse. But it's just really nice to get some terrain, especially for a season specifically set in a jungle. This piece of terrain, I really like the detailing going on in it. It's not a crazy amount, but it's a nice amount. There's also this lantern right here, which appears in two other sets, I believe. And it's just really cool to see. It's a nice build. And, I mean, yeah, I don't have much else to say about it. But the main star of the show is this centerpiece, which has these new leaf pieces in trans green, which are also on the dragon. And it holds the Sword of Fire, which has no connection to the story. They just wanted a thing that looks cool. That is officially what the designers said. But the cool thing about this build is, as you've seen, it can rotate. So there's this little knob on the back, and as you spin it, it rotates, and then if you do it fast enough at a consistent pace, it makes it look like there's a fire surrounding the sword, but like green energy fire, similar to like Lloyd's power, which is really cool. You can see that's built into a tree trunk, and then we have a tree up here, which again uses that new leaf armor piece, but in just regular green. And I think that looks really nice. It's also used in the treehouse for a leaf piece, and I think it works really well for foliage, especially. But yeah, that's about all I have to say about this side build. So getting into the main build of the set, the Dragon of Life, it's where most of the pieces go to. It's where all but two bags go to. It's a big build. It is a really nice dragon, very similar to the Arc Dragon of Focus, which has a lot of people thinking this is another Arc Dragon, which it very well could be. I mean, we have the Source Dragon of Life and the Source Dragon of Focus, and since we got the Arc Dragon of Focus, it's like this is that version for the Source Dragon of Life, maybe? I don't know, there's a lot of thought on what this could be. Yeah. It's an alright build where you can see good side profile. How at the back it's a lot more like rocky texture, as in like the earth it's in, and then as it goes up you get more of the greens, you get the tree branches almost looking legs, especially at the front, which those look really nice. I love the way those were built up. Again, you've got these trans green armor pieces, which look really nice there as well. And then you've got just the armor in the center of the chest, which I'll bring it closer to look much better at. There is some sticker detailing. This is one of the few sets for January that actually has stickers. Very few of the sets do have stickers. It's really the anniversary sets which have a very limited amount, and then I think 3 of the Dragons Rising sets. But to be fair, all the stickers are on the Old Town. But yeah, you got some at the front of the legs, which were specifically built so they're on this interesting angle where the edge, or like the, I don't know what you call it, the angle that's on the piece, that's actually what's on the ground, not the bottom, which is very interesting, and it definitely gives it a bit more height and a bit more difference to some other dragons. You can see it at the back, how there's a seat for a character at the back if, you know, you want someone to ride the dragon. But as we know, these dragons don't usually get ridden. But there's also some stepping stones to put a character on, and then those go down the tail, and then it's almost as if like the tail is a path up to the dragon or something, similar to like, oh, I can't see it, similar to like that almost, which I think is really, it's just unique, and we have never gotten a dragon like this. It's really cool to see. Moving on to the wings of the dragon, they're very technic heavy, and I know we get some dragons like that. However, some can mask it a lot better than this one. Like the Source Dragon of Motion is made using Technic, but those look so nice. But yeah, these have a specific play function. I'm sure you've seen it. So these little bits right here, you can pull them in to bring in your wings, or you can push them out to bring them out. I have found this to be a little bit clunky. This wing, for some reason, stays more in whilst this one gets pushed out, and it is kind of annoying me. But it's much better to keep them in than out, I think. And then what you can do, because these are on the ratchet joints, is you can bring them down, which feels very wrong. You can have them up and then you can turn them around and then bring them down to the side, so they sort of close up the sides of the dragon, which makes it so good for being on display. This is something I personally love about some of the recent dragons, where their wings don't constantly have to be out. You can bring them down to their sides, which makes it so much better on a smaller shelf, especially one like mine. I've been able to fit all the Dragons Rising dragons in my shelves, which I could not say about some of the older dragons from back in the day. But yeah, I don't hate the wings, but this section right here, especially when they're out or even partially out, feels so out of place, and I really dislike it. I've seen someone mention it's supposed to be like a tree branch, but even then, it feels off. It's nice that they use the green and brown, obviously, because, you know, that makes it a tree branch, but yeah, I mean, it could have been better. It really should have been better, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, don't got much else to say there. Moving up to the head, another critique, it only goes side to side, and you can kind of go up, but you can't really go much further down than that, which does make posing this dragon looking down impossible, basically. The main head is on a ball joint, so you can look up, you can look to the side, around to the other side. It's then got a jaw, so you can have it talk or breathe fire or something. And then got these big branch horns, almost. Well, not almost, they are branch horns, which are nice. You can bend them in or back just to make it easier for display. And then you've got the big green, trans green piece at the top to act like one big leaf at the back. Or you can have it up as like a crown, almost. But yeah, it's supposed to be put down. But yeah, that's it for the main dragon. It isn't crazy good, but it is still a really good dragon. I think Dragons Rising has been doing really good with dragons, apart from the Arc Dragon of Focus. This is close to it, but not quite. It's like a good point where it feels more unique without being, you know, too samey, whilst also taking some of the same inspiration to not be the same failure as what the Arc Dragon Focus was, especially from what I've heard. One thing I've now just noticed, these joints do come loose very easy. I've only messed around with those wings once before doing this review, and they were already coming off. That is a problem. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun build, and it definitely does look nice. It looks great on my shelf, especially with all the other sets, but yeah, I don't got much else to say about this. Yeah, well, let's get on to the last side build of the actual set. So the first figure of this set is the Earth Monster. Before you question why did I randomly cut to a figure, you'll see in a second. It's a very nice figure. I really do like the detailing on the torso. I love the reintroduction of the crystallized piece in trans orange, and this new piece for the head, and their weapons are also really cool. I have already gone through the Earth Monster in another set, and we'll go over him in at least another set or two. I don't remember how many they're in. But yeah, it is a very cool character. Not the best, but also not the worst. Not my favorite, but not my least favorite either. And I'm excited to see how they do some of the other monsters in the next wave. But the special thing about the Earth Monster and why I'm doing this as a minifigure is because the other side build is not quite a mech. It is the Earth monster itself, just bulked up. So in Dragon's Rising, apparently, from what we've heard, the elemental monsters are going to get power-ups, essentially. Not quite power-ups, but they're going to get stronger and bigger over time. So we've seen what the mutation monster is like. It gets bigger, it gets a couple more eyes. Yeah. We haven't seen what the acid monster is like, but this is the interpretation of the earth monster. So it is almost like a little mech, but it feels like a bigger version of the same character. So you've got the same weapons, which are now on the sides. Obviously got the same head as well. The torso continues using a bit of trans orange. There's trans orange all throughout. I wish there was a little bit more, but I think it works. Yeah, I mean, not too much to say. It's made similar to like the Marvel mechs and stuff. So you've got the waist joint there, and then the legs. You've got knees on the legs, which is very nice, even if it's on just a smaller mech. You've got the pincers, which the smaller, oh, there we go. The smaller one you can move in and out, so it can, say, grab Zane, and then almost grab Zane. It is a bit iffy to grab, but yeah, I mean, they are the best. But it's nice to simulate play for a kid, I imagine. My only complaint is some of the light gray feels really out of place. The dark gray doesn't feel that out of place, I feel, because that is more of like an earthy, rocky tone. But the light gray just feels a bit too bright. But that's a really like nitpicky complaint, and I mean, it is a pretty good build, all things considered, and I do really like it. And I'm glad that we got this. Villains don't get much, and especially this wave of villains really got nothing. So getting a little earth monster mech type thing is just very nice. Our next figure is the Loyalist Leader. This is a really interesting figure. I don't hate it. It is kind of iffy to me in my eyes, just because it uses the same torso and legs, and it's got nothing too special apart from the face. They come with this staff, which is a really cool build, all things considered. I mean, I really like this. It comes with a printed piece as the like insignia of the staff, and this comes in 2 other sets with the same character, obviously. Interesting enough, 2 of them use a green piece with a hole there, whilst one of them uses just a grey piece, which feels really random, but it's also really funny, and just something I noticed whilst building. So the Loyalist Leader has very nice detailing, but to really talk about this character, if you haven't seen anything to do with this character, anything to do with these sets, and you don't want spoilers for Dragon's Rising Season 4, then look away or skip this portion of the video because, yeah, big reveal. This character is Dr. LaRoe. Very crazy to see her come back. You can really tell as the loyalist, they are loyal to Empress Beatrix. They've got the Imperium type clothing with the dark reds and the blacks and the golds, and it's just really cool to see. And especially because Imperium's kind of felt like nothing since season 1. Like, they help out here and there in other seasons, but it's just nice to see them become sort of a bigger focus again. Very cool, like, face mask on her alternate face as well. But yeah, not too much to say about her. Obviously, we're gonna have to wait till we get the show, and unfortunately, yeah, the actual torso print and stuff isn't unique. I guess the only other cool thing is at the back, you've got the same symbol that's on the staff, but this time on the actual figure, and what it represents seems to be all the elemental monsters. So you've got a bit of fire, a bit of ice, you've got some earth, you've got some sort of like wavy, which would be sort of acid. You've got the like tendrils and stuff like that. It's just really cool to see. But yeah, that is the Loyalist Leader. Next minifigure is the final figure for the villains of the set, and it is the Acid Monster. This is a really cool monster. I think it's my favorite. I don't know, I'm tossing up between this and the Earth Monster just because they're both really cool and come with very cool new parts. Starting off, the weapon is this sort of like staff. It has like a ball of acid basically in it, and like I just think that because of the design of the new dual molded head on this figure, which is a like trans green and purple snake head with like, I don't know how to describe it, but you know when like frogs have just like that bulge under their throat. Yeah, I just think it's like that but with acid. It's really cool. I love the design of it. And again, yeah, it's a new dual molded part. Uh, got the same snake tail that we've had for quite a while now, and the printing just continues that like lime green down or like acid, and then he's got some ropes on his torso and the a more simpler version of the symbol of the elemental monsters. But yeah, very cool figure. I do really like this one. Our next figure is Sora. Sora is the only ninja in this wave to not get a new suit, unfortunately. She just uses her spectral suit or ghost hunter suit. Name still isn't 100% clear. I do we'll never know, I guess. But yeah, she looks very good. I mean, don't have much to say. I've been over this figure twice already, and yeah, I mean, I love the design of it. This time, instead of using the bigger Dragons Rising like shoulder armor, hood, half mask thing, she just uses her regular half mask and the Tournament of Sources scabbard, which looks really good. I do really like it. But yeah, I mean, don't have much else to say about Sora. Next up, we have Aaron, who does have a new suit this wave, as it seems to be the Aaron will get a suit in the first half of the year, and then Sora will get a suit in the second half. So this is Aaron's new suit. Looks very good. He uses a lot more dark blue, similar to his Tournament of the Sources design. However, he also keeps his orange, and then obviously the bright orange. I think he looks really good. He's got this new printing with two dragons. Some people are saying the blue one's like Ryu on the torso, which is really cool. I really like it. Obviously uses the original Dragon's Rising head and mask and helmet. This time he just uses Sora's one. And then on the back you've got Aaron's symbol with the rest of the dragon symbols on there, like the torsos or tails or whatever. And then yeah, that looks really good as well. I mean, don't have much else to say about Aaron. Only complaint is that he's only got one face. He doesn't get a second, which feels really off for some of the other ninja. But yeah, I really like this suit. One of my favorites. Next up, we have Dragon Suit Zane. I'm calling these the Dragon Suits, and then the Dragon forms, well, Draconis forms, a version of this suit. That's at least what I'm calling it, because again, we don't have names confirmed. This is the second time in a row we haven't got it. Every other suit has a name except these ones, which is really annoying, but I do think calling them the dragon suits works. I really like Zane's design. I have already gone over this. I just realized Sora's legs are on Zane and Zane's legs are on Sora. Oh my god. Uh, yeah, they come in the same bag and they both have white legs. That's completely on me. There we go. There's Zane properly. I'm keeping that in. That's so funny. I only just noticed that. But yeah. So Zane's design is really nice. He's got all the ninja have these scales. However, they sort of represent their elemental ability. Some better than others. I think Zane's shows it the best. Maybe Cole shows it second best. But they've got golden tips to it, and then Zane has the secondary ice blue color on it as well, which looks really good. I really love it. And then same sort of detailing on the legs. Most of the dragon armor comes with this bigger armor piece, and then all the Draconis forms come with it as well. Some don't because they don't fit in their builds, but I really like this armor piece, even on just a regular figure. Some people think it's a bit too big, but personally, I think I just really like it. I won't lie. But yeah, Zane just uses his regular head, obviously the one which doesn't have a second face print, and then uses his hair and just a half mask. But yeah, Zane is one of the cooler ones with these suits. I'll go over them in their own video though, so if you want to see them all combined, all next to each other, make sure to check that one out, I guess. Next up is Dragon or Draconis form Cole, which is a really cool figure. So starting off, he comes with this hammer build, which is very similar to all his other hammer builds. However, I really find it interesting how him and Lloyd are the only two characters to get their own weapons. I guess Nia does in a spinner, but that doesn't count in my eyes. But yeah, Cole and Lloyd are the only ones to get specific weapons, which is really cool. Going into Cole's design, I have also gone over this one before. You can see he's got more of like a rocky, sharp edge scales on him, which looks really nice. The gold armor also looks amazing. And then obviously the difference between the dragon suit and the dragon form or Draconis form is the mask, the wings, and the tail. So Cole uses black for the wings and tail, which look amazing. New recolor for the wings, as they were the Dragonian wings, and then these new tail elements are just rubberized, but they look really nice. They work really well on a shelf because then they don't tip over as easy, which is really nice. And then going to the mask, Cole uses obviously the orange and the black, and I mean I just really like how this one looks. The orange feels a bit too much, but it's also like not too much. I wish there was a bit more orange, especially in like the torso and leg design, but I think it works really well. And then obviously under the head we've got the Dragon's Rising face prints, as when they're in their Draconis forms they will have that like face mask visual in the show, which I think is really cool that we get to not only have that in the show but also have that in the sets. The final figure for the set is Draconis form Lloyd. Unlike with some of the other ninja, I'm kind of iffy on him. So Lloyd has something very different where he uses his secondary color for the wings but his primary for the tail. And Kai does the same thing, but Kai kind of has the excuse of they weren't just recoloring a mold they already had in a red color. Lloyd, they chose to recolor it in bright green, but it doesn't work as well. Especially the bright green just feels really off compared to the rest of the figure. And I wish, my main complaint is I wish more of it was used within the actual body. But Lloyd has just some regular dragon armor, but because he is part dragon, that makes more sense for where he feels more like a dragon. Obviously, same tail, just in regular green. Helps them not tip over, especially with these big wings on the back. The lime green wings still feel really off, but it might just take some time getting used to. Comes with his movie sword slash just updated sword since season 8. And then again, the dragon's rising face. And then the mask does work really well for Lloyd. I just wish it was a bit of either colors swapped or just the wings especially were just that regular green. Otherwise, this would be like a really good lineup of figures, I feel. So that was my review of the Dragon of Life. I do think this is a good set. I do think it's probably the best out of the entire Dragon's Rising wave in terms of value and just in general as a build. I think my personal favorite was the J-Car and then the Colmac and then this. This is the third or second place, and then J-Car or Colmac is second or third. I mean, it's really like I'm choosing between the three, and it might just be because I got the Colmac even earlier than the rest of these. But yeah, I mean, good set for $109.99. Wish there might have been a little more. I mean, I wish the wings were a bit better. The head was a bit better in general. I think what you get in the set though is really fair of it. I think, especially because everywhere else in the world, the blacksmith and this cost the same price. However, this is $10 more expensive in America. It does show that the tariffs really did affect this one, unfortunately, which is really annoying. I do think it looks great. It looks really nice on the shelf of everything else. You do get 2 exclusive versions of figures, which is really nice. However, you can get everyone else in much cheaper sets. If you don't care about getting the full versions, you can get basically everything. Basically everything in smaller sets, and then you get the entire ninja team. You get more of the monsters, stuff like that, which is just better. It probably does cost more that way though. But yeah, I mean, overall, pretty alright set. I do recommend it. I would say get it on sale, but also I think it's worth that full price. However, if you do find it on sale, that's like pretty good. It's definitely 100% worth it on a sale. I'd say like 80% worth it at full price. So, depending on what you guys think, you should get it. Definitely, probably the best out of the Dragon's Rising wave, just in terms of the price you pay for it. But yeah, don't have much else to say about this set. Pretty good. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.